Well, CNBC Africa also spoke to Alan Marcus. He's the head of IT and telecom industries at the World Economic Forum, and began by asking him about the key themes coming out of the conference. Let's take a look.
In the space of internet governance, which is part of our new initiative, the Net Mondial initiative, we're really bringing together stakeholders from a variety of countries, stakeholders from a variety of disciplines, which would include the tech sector and the internet sector, but also automotive and banking and consumer product goods, and start to really understand some of the challenges that are in our way of achieving what we all believe is the promise of the internet.
What are some of those challenges? Because one would think with technology, people start to get a little bit nervous sometimes with privacy issues. Is this perhaps one of the things that you are faced with as a challenge?
Yeah, I mean, the issues come in maybe three flavors, certainly. One are standard business challenges. You know, who has the right to monetize information, trade issues between countries, particularly with internet type of technology. There are the actual governmental kinds of things like criminality and security. And then there's the human rights side of the issues as well. People's right for free speech, the ability to get access to medicine or to education. So there's all kinds of challenges that we really need to look at, and they're interrelated. To solve one has implications on others. And so if we don't understand that unintended consequences, we're sometimes in for a rude awakening.
And are you finding that there is uniformity when it comes to regulation? Because you are trying to bring together different stakeholders, different government institutions. How is that panning out?
Well, regulation between nations, between jurisdictions, even within a nation, can be confusing, can be hard. And there are good reasons for that. Certainly, regulations come from cultural norms, come from various states of development, come from various needs for a community. And harmonization, which is a word that many people use to try and find consensus or common points, is certainly one tool. But other tools may include looking at some of the principles that we're trying to achieve and then adapting regulations to achieve those principles. That can also create some opportunity for commonality across different jurisdictions and can improve our ability to move the challenges forward.
What would your response be to the situation that we have in Africa around security? As you know, that has been top of mind for a lot of investors when they want to come in. They're thinking about security. What role can innovation and technology play?
So when it comes to the internet and digital technologies more broadly, there are a lot of security solutions. But one of the biggest challenges we have in any country, not just in Africa, is the human side. Most of these issues come from people maybe not understanding the processes, doing silly things like leaving your wallet on a park bench before you go for a run. You know not to do that. Yet on the internet, people are always leaving their digital wallets, if you will, open for inspection, and that's a bad thing. So one of the things that we need to come together as a community that could be very helpful, particularly to emerging countries getting onto the internet for the first time, are maybe some tools, some best practices, some guidance and advice that can actually be helpful as they run through some of the challenges that some of us have already run through over the last 10 or 20 years. So the more we can bring people together on those kinds of practices, I think the more improvement we could see.
And now the cost with putting all these checks and balances in place, it was going to come up.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, of course things cost money, that no matter what one does. And the challenge I think nations have is, do I apply my funds to helping people get food, get health, get communication, get access to education and things of this nature. And these are hard choices, and there's no right answer. There's certainly wrong answers, and wrong answers include completely ignoring the value that the internet brings. And so the more we can create the right balance of investments in these technologies, the more improvement we can get. Every study that's done, no matter which country you look at, that have improved in development of internet and digital technologies have shown an increase in GDP. Increase in GDP usually means more tax revenues, means more capability for bringing more services to citizens, creates more jobs. These are things that we have to look at in balance, the short term versus the long term. They're very hard decisions, and the more people talk and share insights, perhaps the better lawmakers and business leaders can be informed in making the right choices.